Well, welcome everybody to another episode, another live podcast of Talking Iowa Hawkeye Sports. If you haven't already, hit that subscription button right in front of you. If you're on YouTube live on Talking Iowa Hawkeye Sports live YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share it out, do some comments. We could use some questions from you guys tonight. This was supposed to be a Q&A session, and I was really shocked that not one question came in from anybody. And I put it on, I don't know how many forums. So, put it on X. I put it on several Facebook group pages and stuff. So,
I'm sure we can conjure up some questions of our own, Dean. So.
Oh, I have many.
Good.
Good, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna do the news of the day first. Okay, where do we begin? Let's start with this one. Home and home with UConn. Now, yeah. I don't like the fact that we have to go to UConn first. Okay, I think they should come to us first. But that one's scheduled for December 8th. At UConn. They don't know which arena they're going to play it in yet. Probably going to see how the ticket sales go for that one. But we are at UConn December 8th this year. I don't know. Do you know the return date in Iowa City?
It's the next year, but
yeah, I know that. I know.
No, I don't pay much attention to basketball schedules this early in the season. So, anyway.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was, I mean, if Jan's going to go after a Power 4 type schedule with what she already has, already played. I mean, she's already got USC, UCLA, Maryland on her schedule, Ohio State on her schedule. And you got an improving Minnesota, Indiana, and Illinois on her schedule. What the heck is she doing taking one of the number one teams in the country and putting that on her schedule?
Probably trying to help UConn's RPI.
Well, if we don't get blown out, does that help our RPI? As long as we don't get blown out, because as you know, we didn't fare well against any of the big names last year. We got blown out.
Anytime you play UConn, win or lose, it don't matter how many points you lose by, it's going to help your RPI. But it's called a quad one game.
Yes.
If it's on the road, it's going to help your RPI even if you lose it. So.
Yeah.
What I thought is, I wonder if Gino, I will go play on his court, and then he'll retire, and then he won't have to come to Iowa City.
Yeah.
But
anyway. They can come to Iowa City in the middle of a snowstorm, blizzard.
I don't think Gino's afraid with the roster he has coming back of coming to Iowa City anyway. So I looked at his roster the other day. On 3 broke it down, and it was like, holy shit. It's like it's like nobody on the team was lower than a number 15 recruit or something. And then he's got like 4 foreign players, and of course they're not rated. but they're probably the best Europeans and stuff you can get. So
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if Gino would retire after this year. I wonder how many of his girls would jump ship and go elsewhere, or
like
maybe one of his assistants will take over.
I wouldn't know. He's got his longtime assistant, that woman. I doubt that she takes over. I would almost expect that she'll retire when he does. She's like about his age, which I think he's as old as Kirk Ferentz, I think.
Yeah, Kirk
Might be a year or two older. But.
Yeah, Kirk will turn 71 before the football season starts. And I remember that because his birthday's in August, mine's in May, so he's a year, or actually 10 months younger than I am. We're actually the same age for 3 months or 2 months. 2 months.
And I don't follow UConn enough to know, what women played for him at UConn that are out coaching any place. So I wouldn't know.
They're all in the WNBA. What the heck?
Mm-hmm. All of them are in the WNBA yet. Except
no, he's been around. He's been around
Bird.
for so long. I wonder how many years. That guy's coached.
Sue Bird and Rebecca Lobo aren't playing anymore, but anyway.
My God, he's gotten some players over the years, some big name players. Yeah. We should have asked Molly Tideback if he was coaching UConn when she played.
I don't know. I would think it was the late '80s when he came to UConn, but I'm not sure. So
okay. Alrighty. Okay. So you misunderstood me. I wanted to talk about the 4 games that got times for football. So, dang, I can't even read that.
Well, I kind of know the first games, if I remember, like at 3:15.
Yeah.
Against Northern Illinois.
So yeah, we got Northern Illinois is a 3:15 game on the Big Ten Network. Mm-hmm. UNI is a 3:00 game on the FS1 Network.
We play Iowa State before we play them.
Yeah. Okay, Iowa State is a 6:30 p.m. game on MBC. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we got everybody thought we'd find out our homecoming game, but we did not. What we got was the Nebraska game at 11 a.m. on CBS on Good Friday.
We're going to play Wisconsin at home, and Tom Caker just said by rule, Big Ten rule, the game's got to be before 4:00 in the afternoon. So we know it's either going to be a 3:00 game or an 11:00 game. So.
Why? What's the Big Ten rule that I thought?
Because they want everybody's homecoming. I suppose unless a school waives it, but they want everybody that's traveling to come to homecoming. That's what homecoming is you're coming home to the university you went to. They want people to be able to. They want people to be able to get over early enough that they can drive home.
Okay. I did not realize that Wisconsin was our homecoming game.
Yeah.
Okay.
For Wisconsin.
Yeah, and then I just learned I had this opposite in my head that we're actually traveling to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. After our 3 games that we start the season with, and I noticed that none of those game times have been done, but those probably won't be done until a week before the game.
The Washington game's at 8:00.
Oh, that's right. We got that one on a Friday night, 8:00.
Friday night, and it's on FS1. And it's on FS1 because the Fox network will be covering the World Series or baseball playoffs at that time. So
yeah, got it. Yeah. The World Series doesn't usually start until
October. What were you going to say about the Minnesota game?
Oh, well, okay. So as you know, we open up Big Ten with Minnesota, Ohio State, and Washington in that order. Have a bye week, and then we go on the road to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay, Minnesota is good enough to beat us at their home. We could open up the Big Ten season very realistically 0-4.
Yeah.
That is just crazy for me to think that it's actual a real possibility. And
Yeah. So you think Minnesota's pretty good, huh?
Minnesota is not great. They're consistently
Mhm.
okay, and they're
Mhm.
always good enough that if you don't have your head on your swivel, they're going to beat you. Okay. Now the referees did give them one game in the last what? How many
Mhm.
games did we play that we
Yeah.
won in a row? But most of them have been close. Last year's
I
blowout
would
was an anomaly.
I would term it that PJ Fleck is an above average coach, but we have a great coach. So I'm not real worried about going 0-4. It could happen. Of course with injuries and stuff, but uh
Alrighty. Okay, I'm
anyway.
gonna save this. I'm gonna save this other little thing that you sent me earlier. I assume it was for the show tonight until we talk some
Oh, the
more basketball.
the question or some article or something.
No, just a graphic that was posted today, and you shared it on the group
Okay.
chat.
I would
I thought
just
it was
I
interesting.
do sharing information probably. I don't know which one you're talking about, but
No, we'll
go
get back
ahead.
to that later.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What I want to know is, we got a lot of football visitors coming during June, like we always do, and that's our big recruiting month where we get a lot of. Normally, we get a lot of commits during that time.
Yeah. It's the time that we usually have more than half our commits by now, but June is usually when let's say the latter half of our recruits, we get like 80% of them in June. So, and I think that'll happen again this year, but
Yeah. So what I want to do,
because I think we got 10 already.
yeah, yeah, we do, and we got quite a few. What I
Mhm.
kind of wanted to do is, let me find this real quick. I'm gonna steal this from On3. So,
Yeah,
um,
they do a great job.
yeah. So yeah, but anyway, some of the people coming, we got a couple of 4-star linemen named Kyler Kuhn and Caleb Johnson coming on June 5th, which is next weekend, right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, next weekend.
Probably be a week from Saturday or something.
Week from Friday,
Okay.
but they'll probably
And
stay the week. So.
Kyler, that Coon kid, he's an
Mhm.
interior lineman, and I think he'll come to Iowa. It's pretty much Nebraska, I think Missouri and Iowa, and I think he'll come to Iowa. And Caleb Johnson, isn't he from Indianapolis? And he's a guy that could play interior lineman like a guard, or he's tall enough he could go out to tackle. And
Okay.
anyway, I think
Yeah.
I think he'll commit on the visits. My prediction. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't think so.
He's already visited Indiana. He will be at Michigan State this weekend. Then it's Iowa and then Missouri. So, what's the chances that Missouri actually gets a visit?
I don't know, but I bet he makes up his mind when he's in Iowa City. But a lot of people think he'll go to Indiana, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, then we got Nebraska legacy Barrett Kittrell. So
Mhm.
basically, it comes down to Iowa and Nebraska for this guy.
Mhm.
He's going to be in Iowa City on 6/5, in Nebraska on 6/12, and he should make his decision shortly afterwards.
Mhm.
He is an interior offensive lineman. It looks like we're going really strong after linemen.
Yep.
So what is Iowa's chances, on a Nebraska legacy? Do we have a legitimate shot?
And he's the fifth child in the family, and they all of them play Division I sports, and maybe all of them play at Nebraska. I don't know, but I would say our the only reason we have a chance is because of George Barnett and Kirk Ferentz. We have a way better. When's the last time Nebraska produced a great NFL offensive lineman?
Do they have anybody drafted this year?
I don't know.
I
I have
didn't
no
pay
clue.
attention.
I follow Iowa, so
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Then we have Brady Scott, a defensive backfield safety. He's according to this, he's been a long time target for Iowa. Will be in Iowa City for his official visit on June 5th. He's 6 foot even, 195, Massachusetts native.
he'll probably end up being Iowa or Indiana, I think.
Yeah, he visited Indiana on 4/24. Has Louisville on 5/29, Iowa 6/5, Georgia Tech on 6/12. I would say Louisville's an up and coming team now with what's his name, Braun.
Yeah. And this guy is very fast, a track star, and he could be a cornerback, cash, safety, or wide receiver.
Okay, or a punt or kickoff returner.
Yeah, or a long snapper. I'm kidding.
Yeah, not a long snapper. You don't waste that kind of speed and talent on a long snapper.
Yeah.
Just ask Kluver.
Yeah.
Okay, then you got Kenyon Norman, which I believe On3 did a feature on him today. He's a running back, and he get his first look at Iowa City on June 5th. He's 6'1", 190. He's an Ohio native. He's visiting Northwestern this week, Iowa next week, Maryland the following week, Connecticut on 6/13, and Wake Forest on 6/19. Geez, if I personally had to choose, but I'm biased, out of all those schools, I would take Iowa.
I think Iowa's the favorite there, and that's George Barnett's home territory, and George finds a lot of guys in Ohio. You know, the position coaches get credit for the other Caleb Johnson and this kid and everything, but George has deep roots out there. So anyway,
Toll House is just letting us know that only one Nebraska player, or running back, was chosen in this year's draft. Thank you, Toll House. I really appreciate you guys when you help us out when we get stuck. You guys have the answers for us.
Emmett Johnson.
There you go.
And he's a good one.
Okay, Norman had 1,200 yards and 16 touchdowns at Lakota West last season. Then we got Chris Kasky.
Yep.
Okay.
Kasky.
Has 4 official visits coming up, including a stop in Iowa City. He's 6'5", 230. Will also be at Missouri, Illinois, Michigan State. Kasky
defensive end, right?
It doesn't tell us who he is.
Yeah, he's a defensive end. So.
Okay. All righty. He's racked up 25 tackles for losses and 14 sacks. So, yeah, we probably need to get him. Okay. Bennett Conkey. God darn it, these names. At least they're easier to pronounce. He's a wide receiver who's a track star.
Bennett is quite the story. So go ahead, Dean.
Yeah, he's a track star in high school, has now set his official visit for Iowa for June 5th. He's 6'1", 190. Conkey is planning a visit to Iowa, Iowa State, Illinois, and Indiana. He could almost choose any of those schools, and he's working to reschedule a Wisconsin visit. But he wants.
He is faster than Tim Dwight. Last year, what's weird about him is he's like come out of nowhere. Last year, his 100-meter time was 11:3, which 11:3 is like that's the speed that a linebacker would run or something. But he the other day he ran a 10:2 electronic time. Tim Dwight, did I say 10:2, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't want to misspeak. He ran a 10:2, which is Tim Dwight state of Iowa record time almost at the state track meet. But Tim Dwight ran with a hand time. This was electronic time, so we know it was
more accurate.
Yeah, and we'll see. He might get it to go down I think he visited Indiana pretty early. I don't know. I hope he comes to Iowa. Boy, you can use a burner, you know.
Well, if he visited Indiana, it was unofficial because his official is 619.
Okay.
Okay. The rest of the people coming, so those are our non-commits. The rest are our commits. We got linebackers, Kevin Stecker, Braylon Bingham, and Kyler Van. How do you say that last name? Manen?
Van Manen.
Manen.
Yeah, it's like very Dutch name or Netherlands or someplace, but
Okay. Terry Walker says Beanie Meanie and Killer Kel. Thank you, Terry. Like I said, we give Terry the credit for setting up that interview.
By the way, Terry, Mr. UCLA, I was reading the recruiting rankings right now. Mr. Chesney at UCLA has the number 10 recruiting class in the nation. He's quite a coach. So
yeah, that's the football coach, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is quite the coach. So
well,
I knew Walker's Mr. UCLA, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And Rick is our Drake guy.
Yep.
Alrighty. So anyway, we got Tommy Riordan coming, Jaron Snoblock, Riley Newman, Nate Brenneman, safety Jake Thies, tight end Jack Jean, and quarterback Braden Santabanez coming. They're all going to come, even though they've already committed to Iowa. They're all coming for visits as well.
Yeah. Their job is to become friends with the people visiting and help recruit. So,
okay, since you pointed out the recruiting thing for UCLA, Terry does say hopefully that means success. We'll find out. Can the guy coach? He can recruit. Can he coach?
He's a super coach. He's the type of guy that when Kirk Ferentz retired, he was the type of guy that I wouldn't have minded getting an outside guy like him if we got an outside guy. So
okay. Where has he coached in the past?
James Madison. He took.
That's right. He
took Signetti's.
It's right here. He made the playoffs with JMU. And remember how badly they got beaten? We were all saying that JMU shouldn't be in the playoffs.
Well, they shouldn't have been. But that don't make the coach a bad coach. It just means that they are literally outmanned. It's like Tyler Brown, who people think is gonna start for Iowa at safety besides Lutmer. He played at James Madison, and boy, Oregon just torched him in the game. So.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Oregon. Good thing we're not playing Oregon again this year.
Yeah, Oregon had 50 points like halfway through the third quarter, and then they called the dogs off, But.
Yeah. Okay. There's another running back coming named Kenyon Thomas.
Yeah.
5'11", 205. He also has visits to Connecticut, Illinois, Iowa, and Cincinnati. The month of June will also see Iowa's coaching staff host at least 2 kickers. They have offered Ford, you know how to say that? Feeling, and Ben Ledoux.
Okay. The kid, the running back, I really like him. He's from Warren Central High School. That's around Indianapolis, I think. But I know there's a Warren, Ohio, but this kid is I think he's from the Indianapolis area, but it's Warren Central. Boy, he's an impressive kid. Both them running backs are. So.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's see if I got any other football news updates. I do not. Okay.
I got an update. The kid that didn't enroll early, the Schaefer kid from Wisconsin, had his first track meet like yesterday or day before, and he ran a 10.600 meters. So he's the one that Tyler Barnes calls very much like Cooper DeJean. So
okay,
looks like we're getting our wide receiver rooms getting better quickly. So
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. I've got that marked down as one of my questions tonight. Terry would like to tell you that you need to look at the camera when you speak. He thinks that's rude, and he says joking.
no, I didn't even know. I don't even know I had a camera. So I got a phone sitting in front of me, but
Yeah, there's a camera on your phone, dude. Just
yeah,
look
well,
at
I
your
ain't gonna,
phone.
yeah, I'm gonna watch the Cubs and look at my notes and stuff. I'll try to be factually accurate instead of looking at the camera. So and give to the swarm if you can. So
Yeah, there
anyway,
you go. Alrighty. I did want to point out that I did watch. Was it yesterday or the day before? Ben McCollum had a 16-minute interview with Lockdown Hawkeye. Oh my God!
I'm looking at the
I just look
camera.
at it. I just
I'm
look
looking at the camera. Okay, go ahead with your Ben McCollum.
Okay. Anyway, Terry says smartass.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not trained as an actor or a TV man, but I'll try to do better. So.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't always look at the camera either, so maybe I should work on that too.
I think we look more casual and relaxed this way. You know, maybe I should do my podcast like this.
Okay. There you go.
I look
Anyway,
better that way.
Lockdown Hawkeyes did a
Mm-hmm.
16-minute Ben McCollum interview.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all Ben could give him. 16 minutes was all. And I just feel like there wasn't a lot of information in there. But what I took away from there is that he's looking at scheduling, and he's not ready to tell us who yet, but we already know a couple. He's looking to schedule 5 or 6 Power 4 teams.
Mm.
Okay, everybody knows that that we got Xavier. That's a home and home that we had Xavier last year, so I guess we got Xavier coming up next year at their home in Cincinnati. We know we have Creighton. Who else we got? I forgot.
We got supposedly a home and home coming up with Alabama.
Oh, that's right.
And, yeah.
And Iowa State. And Iowa State, of course.
Iowa State. You know, that'll be at home this time. And he's got a couple more in the works, but Ben said it's almost impossible nowadays to get a home and home. You know, you usually have to go play them in a neutral site someplace or something like that.
That's what he said. He said it's been really tough to get these home and home games because a lot of people don't want to come to Iowa City. But he did say that people are more excited to come now than they were before. You know,
it helps their RPI. Like I talked about UConn. You know, UConn plays a very weak schedule as far as the conference. You know, there's no other powerful team in their conference. You know, probably Syracuse and Villanova or somebody. Well, Syracuse ain't even in their conference anymore. But anyway, Syracuse went to the ACC. I forgot that. But
yeah. Okay,
you know, so UConn's got to schedule these games, and Gino's done a great job of it over the years. You know, they always play UCLA or Texas or, you know, some of these powerful teams, you know, because they got there's no reason for Gino not to play a powerful schedule because he's got such a great roster. Which shouldn't be scared of anybody. So,
yeah. Well, we're starting to have a little rivalry thing going on with UConn. I know that the year we went to the Final Four, or was it we were in the Final Four, and anyway, you know, we had that controversial call go our way at the end of the game to give us the victory against UConn. And before that, I believe we played them didn't we play them last year on a neutral site somewhere? But closer to their home anyway.
We got beat by 20 or 30.
Yeah. And then I think a couple years before that, we also played them some other time. So it seems like we're starting to play them with regularity.
I think Caitlin's freshman year, is that who we lost to in the NCAA tournament was UConn, I think. It was a road game, but
yeah. Well, I do
Her
know
and
that we
Paige
lost
Bathers
to him, but Paige Beckers, whatever that was, she was injured that game and was not playing that whole season.
yeah, but that was their freshman year. And then and I'm sure that's the game that knocked us out of the tournament, probably the second round or something. So.
Terry's asking me, goes, did you say you interviewed the wrestling coach already? I have never interviewed our wrestling coach. I have interviewed a couple times, not on this show, but on the show that I co-hosted with Nolan Hawkeye Anthony several years ago. We interviewed Chuck Yagla. And I personally know Chuck. I probably could talk him into coming in again if he wanted to.
Was he like your brother-in-law or something?
No, he was brother-in-law to my best friend who was in my wedding.
Okay, because I knew you knew him personally.
Yeah, yeah. And we went to the same high school, and he was a senior when I was a freshman.
Chuck is a great guy. Talk about nice.
Yeah. Chuck is a very nice guy. That's why I like him so much. And the fact that Chuck is no longer with my friend's sister, he didn't hold that against me.
He shouldn't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No. I wasn't sure how that would go over.
Didn't have nothing to do with you, Dean. So
nothing would do with me. It's true. Well, okay. So while we're talking about,
was there anything else from the Ben McCollum thing that you gleaned, or?
Yes, I want to not from the interview itself because basically he was just talking about recruiting and they couldn't really talk about any. He did say that that Thompson is hitting everything he hits in practice. He's hitting about 40% from the three right now. He just says it seems like everything he throws up goes in, so he's excited for that. He said Jirok is coming along nicely. He's getting stronger. His shot's getting better, and he's excited for him. And of course, everybody's excited to. Gosh. The other big guy. What's his name? The other
McKeever?
one. No. The gosh, the guy who played the freshman who played a lot at the end of the season, but thought we should have played more during the year.
Well, Tate Sage ain't a big guy.
Sage. Yeah,
he said Tate Sage can actually play some point guard.
He did say that. He said that, and said that he's getting better all the time too. So with those three players, it's going to be kind of scary next year to see how good we can be.
I think we're going to have a better team next year than we did this year. I know we're losing the NBA player, but
yeah. Okay, so this is kind of one of my questions I wanted to ask, and this is a good place to do that. Okay, last year, everything went through Bennett. Okay, everything went through Bennett, and we depended on him. But either to get the right pass off, or get the shot off, or something, or keep that ball in his own hands, or whatever he needed to do, he did. So, do we have somebody like that next year that can just take over like Bennett did this year, or do you see more of a scoring by committee? Like somebody mentioned here, like a 20-point. Somebody needed to score 20. Yeah, here we go. Seth Gecko said Ben needs a 20-point plus veteran score. Does he need that, or can we have a balanced? Can we have a balanced scoring roster next year?
I think Ben will more have 6 guys that maybe can score 14 points a game. That'd be 84 points a game. Koch by the end of the season was an offensive machine. And I wouldn't say that Sturts. It wasn't that Sturts was, he wanted everything to go through Sturts. I thought that Sturts was just when they didn't get a good shot in the first 20 seconds, Sturts was the guy that, we'll give Sturts the ball with 10 seconds to go because he's our one guy we can kind of depend on. I think they tried to get close in shots for Tavian Banks and Manyao and stuff like that, but he's going to have a lot of tools this year with Tyreek Coleman, and he's really excited about McKeever's offensive game and Jurok and Sage. And we already said Koch, and I think Combs, if he gets the ball more, he's gonna produce a lot more, and we got other Trey Thompson, he shoots 43% in practice, and Ben said this summer he just don't miss. So that sounds like it's more than 43%. So
yeah, to me too.
I'm excited. I think it'll be much more of a team offense, and hey, it's the start of an era.
Yeah.
They had a great start this year, and I think it'll be. I don't think we're going to go to the Elite Eight every year. We're going to win the national championship every once in a while, Dean. So
yeah. If we could do it at least once before I pass on to the almighty heaven.
I don't know if you want me to say this, but I watched Tom Kakert put out a little 13-minute podcast with a recruiting expert, and I listened to it just before it came on.
Mm-hmm.
And that recruiting expert says that Davian Thompson is really considering reclassifying, like we alluded to the previous podcast. If you got him and you got one of them point guards, ridiculous point guards in the next year, boy, Katie bar the door, the talent. That Daughtry kid, Tom Kakert's just in love with him. And Tom says whenever you talk to him, Michigan's recruiting him, Kentucky, UConn, and Duke, and Iowa. But all he talks about is Iowa. All he talks about is Ben McCollum.
It sounds like they're building quite the relationship.
Yeah, it's maybe I'm sure he can get $5 million to go to one of them other schools. But maybe he's the type of kid that says, I'd rather take $1 million and just play for Ben McCollum because he's the best. The kid loves Bennett Sturts, and so anyway.
Okay. All right. Okay. First of all, I want to. Terry said, "Check your email, Dean." I did, Terry. There's nothing from you in the email. Toll House, Jacob Cook was named to the president's list at Iowa, and Peyton McCollum was named to the dean's list. I'm glad academics still mean something. Congratulations to them. I agree. I sometimes wonder in this new age of Division I college sports if we've lost sight of the academics and the degrees that these guys are getting.
And Ava Hayden and Taylor McCabe were the academic stars on the women's team.
Yeah. But I did want to point out that the picture that went with the article is not Jacob, it's Cooper Koch. They put Cooper Koch's picture in there. I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed that it was Cooper Koch's picture in Jacob Cook's place.
I didn't notice that. I looked at the picture and everything. Of course, I don't really know what Jacob Cook looks like, but he doesn't get into games very often. So
he doesn't look like Cooper, I can tell you that.
Okay.
It's obvious that it's Cooper.
Okay.
Somebody just saw Cook and clicked it on and put it in there. And that picture, by the way, originated from the official Hawkeye website.
Yeah. Unless they did a misspelling and actually Cooper, it was actually Cooper who was the academic hero of the day. But anyway.
Okay. I still don't have anything, Terry. You said that you CC'd me in on an email. I still don't have anything from you or anything copied in.
It was probably an email on how to look directly into the camera while you're talking.
I think it has something to do with the head wrestling coach, Brands, and we're going to talk about him tonight. I got him on too.
Yeah, Terry, if you have any questions while we're talking, fire them,
Yeah, fire away. Any of you guys got any questions, fire away, because this was supposed to be our Q&A episode.
And it can be
we're punting tonight. We're
It could
punting
be
tonight.
a question about anything, rating this or anything, Do you think we should fire Tim Lester? I don't know. Anything.
Yeah. Well, I got one question that came in. How many Sprite 2 liters does Kelvin down in one day?
I don't even have any, but
oh,
I got to buy it.
okay. All righty. Darn.
I really don't. That's not my favorite pop. Once in a while, when I know I'm going to do a podcast, I'll grab a 2-liter if I got one and set it here, because then I don't have to get up because our podcasts tend to go for 2 hours or more.
Yeah.
And usually one of these little bottles don't last. But anyway.
Yeah. It's funny. I can remember when I used to limit this podcast to an hour. And I just cut it off, and Paul would get mad. He goes, "We don't know how to end a podcast. You just cut it off."
Yeah. Can I ask a question for everybody?
Go for it.
What are the percentages, 25%, 95%, 50%, that Caitlin, when she's a free agent, re-signs with the Indiana Fever?
Okay, so
I think that'll be 2028.
Yes, because she's already signed through next year. They've already taken their option on her for next year. So whether she likes it or not, she's a Fever unless she agrees to a trade.
I'm not saying she doesn't like it. I'm just asking what people out there think and think it through, salary caps and all this stuff. Obviously, if they give her a great big contract, somebody's got to go, So think it out. What do you think?
Okay. Well, here's one. The Savannah Bananas are playing at Kinnick Stadium in June. How many organized baseball games have been played at that stadium since it was constructed in 1928? I Googled the answer. Okay. Toehouse, I don't know, because in my lifetime, I don't know that it's ever happened, or that I know of anyway. So I'm going to say 0. Oh, I was right.
I was going to say that the dimensions of Kinnick, it's too narrow to play baseball in, I think. But
that's why they're the visitors has those fans on top of them. 0 games, although the stadium was built on a baseball diamond. Who knew?
1929, it was built, I think. So.
By the way, when the Savannah Bananas were in, I believe, Pasadena not too long ago, my grandson and my daughter and my son-in-law went to that game. They managed to get tickets. Tickets were sold on a lottery basis, and they got lucky and got lottery. They won the lottery and got tickets. And so when my grandson Ben comes up to bat in baseball now in his little league games, he has a banana on the back of his belting. Back of his belting, back of his helmet. By the way, they won their little league championship, but his season's done because even though he's the best player in the league, he's not moving on to All-Stars because his parents don't want him to. He's going to focus on soccer. Okay. All right. Seth Gecko wants to know if Ben's going to add anyone else. I think he said that he's actually trying to get somebody, a point guard or something, but I think he said it doesn't necessarily have to be a point guard. Am I correct?
He said maybe a guard like that, and then of course he would add Tavian if he can come back.
Well, now I heard when on the interview today but it wasn't actually today, but I heard it today. Lockdown Hawkeye said that it seems, and he said this openly to Ben, that it looks like Tavian Bank coming back is a closed book now.
Yeah, that's what Condon said, and Ben just looked at him like, I love Ben. It's like, how many you got? How many's on your roster? Oh, I don't know. Hey, Tyler Teichman, how many is on our roster? And Tyler goes, 14, sir. Well, Tyler says we have 14. I love Ben that he don't comment on shit like that. But anyway.
Okay. Well, he can't technically anymore, isn't it? Because
What?
isn't Tavian Banks now technically a recruit now because he's no longer a Hawkeye, but he can
No,
come back and be a Hawkeye. Okay,
no, he's on the basketball team yet. I mean,
does the guy who lost NCAA ruled against that one guy from, I think it was Texas Tech, a quarterback or something?
well, the gambler. Yeah, you can't gamble and play football.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a guy trying to get a fifth year.
Sorsby, he gambled thousands of times and hundreds of times on his own team. And Texas Tech was going to fight it because he's a big money NIL guy. He was a Cincinnati quarterback last year, and he started out at Indiana. If you want to know his full bio, he started out at Indiana, and then he went to Cincinnati and was very successful at Cincinnati. I know Jason really liked him or something. And anyway, and then he went to Texas Tech this year, going to get a lot of money. Everybody at Texas Tech gets a lot of money. And then they found out he gambled, and he's in Gambling's Anonymous now, trying to break his addiction he says he has. And the NCAA, of course, say, well, you cannot play football if you've gambled, which we all know the rules,
Yeah, because Iowa players found out.
Even if they bet on one game.
Yeah. Iowa State got theirs reinstated, but I don't know if those guys ever end up playing a game. But Iowa decided not to fight it. Like Iowa State hired lawyers and fought it and won. Iowa, no. And that's the reason why. That's the reason why I can't think of his name now. The one that Kirk fought so hard to get him to play, and then
Shannon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Arlen Bruce never played again. Of course, he had transferred. And Kai Shudak, the backup punter, kicker, he never played again. But I don't know. I don't know who these Iowa State guys are that come back and play. I don't know who they are. But does anybody have an answer to my Caitlin question?
I'm saying 95% that she does not come back to the Fever.
Holy shit. I thought I was going to be controversial and say 50-50,
No.
How do you not re-sign the gal that's like almost leading the league, and she's third in scoring and number one in assists? I don't know how you do that.
Okay, Terry wants you to repeat the question.
What's the percentage chance that Caitlin, after she becomes a free agent, stays with the Fever? And it's an interesting question because there's a salary cap, and they already gave Boston a lot of money and Kelsey Mitchell a lot of money. They re-signed Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham. I couldn't understand giving Cunningham and like $600,000 a year or something. But anyway, that's the question.
Okay. All righty. So, because Toll House says, I love the fact that Ben looked unshaven at the interview. It tells me he's busy recruiting.
One thing I know about Ben, I see every one of his interviews. The guy's like me. If he don't shave twice a day, his beard grows. He's a guy that always has, what do you call it, a 9 o'clock shadow or whatever you call it, Dean?
Yeah. Yeah, 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock shadow, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Terry says they will restructure. The sad thing is the Fever are going to have to come up with a lot of money to keep Caitlin in, and what she does for ticket sales there and everything. They're going to want to keep her because
I think the whole key is Caitlin in 2 more years. Is she going to be happy there? Does she want to move on? I don't know.
Yeah. But here it is, her year 3, and she's still getting pushed around in the league. Still being, that girl is going to end up being permanently injured. I'm not so sure her back injuries aren't part of what's going on with the defenders against her in this league, because I'm so tired of watching it. And I'm so tired of the referees not doing anything to protect Caitlin or the league protecting Caitlin. She's their cash cow, and it just bugs the crap out of me that nobody's trying to protect this. I understand that basketball can become a physical sport at one time, but they're intentionally going after her, and yet Caitlin's the one getting teed up.
Yeah, I just think that it's not near as physical as it was the first 2 years. That they're, I don't know the officials like Caitlin particularly, but whatever.
Well, no, because she tells them off. She tells them what she thinks.
Yeah, and it's like every time I watch them other teams play, Paige Becker's bitches to the refs all the time.
Well, did you see in her game the other night when she was bitching about it? She got teed up, and she just went like, you thought it was Caitlin Clark part 2. She just went after the ref.
But it's a little over. I know Caitlin. She's not as bad as John McEnroe or anything, but she's a very expressive person. And as if I was refereeing, if she asked me about the call, talk to me about the call, that's not a big deal. It depends on what language you use, and you can't tell a referee you're blind or something. But anyway.
Okay. All right, I got some other questions I'm going to ask.
Let's go.
I'm just going to be kind of random. I kind of came up with these. Let's see where we're going to go with this. All righty. Okay, women's basketball. Will Strimla go to become a bench player after starting every game after McCabe got hurt?
You asking me?
Yes.
I would lean that way. I agree with Kasheen Alexander. That
what did she have to say?
She said Whiting. People say that Whiting's going to take Kylie Feuerbach's place as a defensive player. And Kasheen, who knows Whiting, says she's a way better defensive player than Kylie Feuerbach was. And I think you need that girl at that position starting. She's never not started a game in her life in her college career. Whiting, I think 97 games, 97 starts, and I agree with Kasheen that Stremlo. I think Stremlo will back up, will play at all 4 positions out on the exterior. And what's the difference if she plays 25 minutes as a starter or 25 minutes
as a backup?
Because she is not near the defensive player that Whiting is.
But anyway, I have Chit Chat and Danny at the 1 and 2. They could flip flop that. At the 3 and 4, I've got Amari at the 3, Velisco at the 4, and of course Ava at the 5. Anything I posted there that you see wrong?
No, I just think the starting positions. I know that Chit Chat and Danny are going to start.
Yeah.
Ava's going to start. Mm-hmm. The other 2 positions are going to be won in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Wilitsko is automatically the starter. But I expect it. But they're gonna play their best 5 players to start the game, whoever they are. You know?
And I would expect after the fiasco with Addie Deal, everybody expected her to start. She didn't. People got mad, and then they would root for her when she got in the game. But except for a few games here and there, Addie didn't produce. And I still think it was all a mental block from the pressure she felt from her parents and from the fans and from the coaches to perform.
People just gotta simmer down, and see who wins the job in practice before they start playing, and then probably into the season, how the flow of the games go. Jan's gonna going to change who plays. It's the same thing. Like all these fans already, we have the Hecklinski fans and we have the Hank Brown fans. Just let them play out. And probably the guy that starts the first game, I would not be surprised that if Hank Brown starts first game, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't start fourth game or the fifth game. Because I think they're that close. I want Hecklinski. I keep telling people that, but I'm not going to say Hecklinski's the best quarterback because I don't know.
Okay.
We're not there at practice. Right. Why would we know? It's like, oh my God. But,
yeah. Okay, so jumping all over the place. This next question is a wrestling question. Is Brands on the hot seat? Now, just to preface this, I got the name. It's Bob Nichols is a big donor to the wrestling program, and he's a big Brands fan. So I would say Brands is not on the hot seat no matter what happens.
And
you guys at home, when we're doing these questions, hang on for a second.
I think Beth is looking at him for the whole year to see, what recruits he brings in, how good they are. Go ahead, Dean.
Well, no, I was just gonna. I forgot where I was going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it!
Did somebody else have a question? Did somebody else have a question or something?
No, that's what I wanted to say. Could you guys, when we ask these questions, please chime in, type in what you think on your answer and the response, because this is supposed to be our fan Q&A viewer show. And I'm gonna try this again with maybe a little more luck next time. But anyway, my theory is Brands is not on the hot seat. He will be back, and he will be back again. The gap between Penn State and everybody else is so big that even that I heard somebody say today is if Iowa can't be number 2, does that make Brands on the hot seat? Because actually everybody else is fighting for second place because Penn State, until what's his name leaves, I don't think Penn State's ever gonna come off that pedestal.
The thing I don't like is I don't like falling behind Nebraska and Ohio State and Oklahoma State.
That is correct.
And now, this season, I know we rallied in the NCAA tournament, but this season we were kind of behind them.
Yes, we were.
And we should be getting good enough recruits and have good enough coaching that Oklahoma State maybe is buying a team, and they have a Cale Sanderson's assistant down there. Maybe we'll fall behind Oklahoma State here, but any of them other 2 teams, I don't really stand for that,
Yeah, Ohio State, Nebraska, no. Or even West Virginia is an up-and-comer coming now. Like, people are expecting some good things out of them. If you guys saw on my Facebook page, I posted a wrestling expert who went through and all the top contenders. He's posted everybody's projected starting lineups, and so... Alrighty.
I've seen that.
Okay. Alrighty. Iowa wide receiver group is getting a lot of hype. Will they live up to the hype? Because it's not the first time the wide receiver group got hype and they didn't live up to it. Well, first of all, the quarterback has to throw to them and actually get it to them. But assuming that the quarterback's going to get the ball to these wide receivers, are they going to come through for us and actually live up to the hype this year? Anybody can answer this. Of course, Kelvin will, but you guys can too. You guys are out there. Tell me what you think.
I do know that the wide receiver group, if you count the incoming freshmen, which is a very good incoming freshman class, I will say, and they got some walk-ons that people don't even talk about. I will say that the wide receiver group is the deepest it's been maybe ever. I mean, ever. And I really mean that. So I'm talking about when Hayden was coach or anything. This is you talk about a deep wide receiver room. But is the quarterback going to deliver the ball? I think our offensive line is going to be good. So that's a big part of passing too. So, but
all righty. Okay, so all right. Here's another one. Philosophy.
well, are you gonna answer your wide receiver question or?
Oh, I'm taking a wait and see attitude because we've gotten burned so many times.
Yeah, so you're smarter than I am.
Yeah. Alrighty. Should Iowa State and Iowa football game is about to get renewed. We don't know how much, but according to Jamie Pollard, they're in talks to renew their contract, which actually I believe runs out after this season. And so, should this game continue or not? And what's everybody think? I would love to hear from you guys out in the audience there that are watching. All of a sudden, our comments have dried up. I don't know why.
It's all right. They might have went to the bathroom or something. I think that I know as long as Kirk Ferentz is there, they're going to renew that contract. The only way they won't is if the Big Ten and SEC decide that they're going to play each other a game. What do you call it? Have Big Ten SEC rivalry games, which I hope they don't do that. I hope we keep Iowa State and renew it forevermore. So
okay, I just checked on my phone. Yeah, not having the issue with people are not commenting all of a sudden, but that's fine.
What do you think, Dean?
Okay, here's my thought. I think we should continue it no matter what. But if the Big Ten goes to 10 games, or if we add an SEC crossover game, which they are talking about, then I think Iowa State game needs to be dropped because our schedule's already tough with USC, Oregon, and Washington in our league, and probably UCLA pretty soon. And so, adding those 4 teams, it just makes our schedule so tough. It makes it harder to win games. And, and I'll be honest, I wish those 4 teams hadn't been coming in. I wish we would have just kept the status quo. I wasn't happy when Rutgers and Maryland came in. But, as it turned out, I don't know that I think we've only lost to Maryland once, and I don't think we've ever lost to Rutgers in football. So that turned out to be a good thing for Iowa.
Yeah, and I think the reason the Big Ten is getting all this money being piled on to them from the TV networks is because of the expansion, Dean.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of TV sets, and boy, them 4 teams we added on the West Coast were all storied programs. I know UCLA's been down for a few years, but UCLA was always a powerful program. So,
got my ice all stuck in there. Okay, here's another question for you. Should the Iowa men basketball add back Drake and UNI on a regular basis, or at least every other year or something?
I don't think so, but what do you think, Dean?
I think we should. I know that there's a no win for Iowa, and it's a win for these guys. I know that Iowa can't win either way, but it certainly beats playing Maryland, Baltimore.
Maybe.
And, but it adds a little bit spice to the game by playing UNI because some of these guys probably feel slighted, having not been recruited by Iowa. UNI has always given Iowa a rough time and even beat Iowa a few times.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time Drake actually beat us, but I was at one of the Drake games, and Drake may have won that game back in the day. So I don't remember. It was back in the field house. It was back in the field house, though. So I don't remember if we won that game or not.
It would have had to been in the 70s. So
yeah. I agree.
I
Or did
could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Wait a minute. When did it? No, it was like 1980 or 81. It was before. It was that the field house was wrapping up its years, and I don't remember when Carver Hawkeye opened up, but it was right
I don't.
before Ludo. I think Lute Olson got to coach in there one season before he left.
He coached the Carver when it opened up. The first game was the Michigan State game,
Which
in
we
the Big
lost.
Ten. And we lost. It was we shot a shot at the buzzer, didn't go in, and like from half court, Bobby Hansen took it. But
So that was near the end of his career.
I don't remember losing to Drake that year, but you're probably right. So
Well, I don't know if we did or not. I just don't remember. It just seems like if I seem to remember watching Drake in the field house, and I seem to remember losing, but that could have been before that.
yeah, I know we lost to Drake before, but I don't think since the 70s. But I could be wrong.
Okay, does either the men or the women get to the Final Four next year? This next season? I say no. I don't think either one gets there.
I don't think it'll be the women, and the chances are not great for either one of them. But anyway, but I don't, with this darn transfer portal, I don't even know who South Carolina and UConn are going to be great for the women, but I really don't know who's going to be the overpowering teams anymore, because the rosters change every year,
Yeah, and that's just it. It's really hard until, like Ben says, he doesn't really know what he's got until everybody gets there in June and they start practicing. It's kind of hard to tell when you start bringing in new players and transfer portal people exactly what you're going to get, and it's got to be hard for all these preseason magazines when they come out to try to figure this out, because all you can do is base it on the reputation and the popularity and how good these players are that you brought in, and how good were the players that you lost.
Yeah, I've seen people predicting the top 25 men's basketball teams, and I think everybody's picking like Florida and Michigan to be number 1 and 2 or something. So
is Michigan bringing everybody back from their title team?
No, most of them. I don't know all their names. They got like 4 or 5 guys in the first round.
Yeah,
Michigan.
But here's something that really bugs the crap out of me is all these portal people. Okay, you're a Michigan fan. Okay, Michigan won the title, but not one of them was a Michigan man. They all came in from different schools. Okay, is that really how you want your team to be? A one and done team that you bring in all these portal guys and they win? I think, honestly, I kind of like how our coaches do it. They always use the portal to replace their needs. They just don't go out and go out and just fill the roster just to fill the roster with a whole bunch of portal people and get rid of the people they got, because, both Ben and Kirk said that they want to build their program through high school recruits and use the portal to fill needs. And I like that. I like that philosophy. And Jan had no issue this year but to build her program with transfer portal people.
I will say that it didn't bother me that we went to the Elite Eight this year with a bunch of transfers.
That is true.
all we had was Cook and Koch, I think.
Yeah. That is true. That's true. Those words are going to come back to eat me. And
well, no, they ain't going to eat me, but I just got to thinking. When you first said it, I thought, God, I know Gronk was a transfer, but I love him. And then I thought, but then the next thing you said, that we really don't concentrate on transfers that much. And I thought, yeah. And then I thought of the basketball team, which it's different. Most of them players were Ben's players.
Yeah, they were. It was also different from the fact that we lost everybody but 2 players off.
But I know I listened to a podcast today where they said, the Ohio State football team is This is just the football team is $50 million. And so I don't think Ben or Kirk are ever gonna have a national championship team that's like all transfers because we can't afford it.
No, we can't.
So I don't think we can do it like Illinois and Michigan in basketball, Indiana. They just buy a team, and we're never going to get that way. And I think Ben is too much like Kirk. He just wants to recruit and develop most of his players. And like you said, add that extra one, and I think we'll just love them teams as long as they go to the Final Four.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
just can't believe it that we got Ben McCollum. It's like it's crazy.
All right. Okay. On 3 today, there's a controversy or on the new floor going in on there. There was a picture at one point, but I couldn't find it of the new floor being installed.
Yeah.
And so
they want to know. They're arguing over the design of it, right?
Yes. Well, okay. Somebody designed one. Somebody did put his own design up there that replaced the Tiger Hawk with the Flying Hurkey. And I'm going to tell you what, I thought that looked sharp, especially the revised version where it had Hawkeyes underneath the Flying Hurkey. I've always loved the Flying Hurkey. Yeah, I hated that we don't use it much anymore. As you can see, I'm wearing Flying Hurkey today.
That's what we had at midcourt when Ronnie Lester played, and I loved it, But I did the design that guy put up the Hurkey with was
a little too big. It was a little too big.
Way too big, But I can live with it anyway. I know that Beth has said that Ben and Jan and the players on the teams are going to have great input into it. So I doubt that any of these people on 3 Threads are gonna get their design they want.
No, I agree with that, but I just thought it was quite interesting that somebody
put
like
up that Flying Hurkey, but
yeah. But I my favorite one was with the Flying Hurkey with the words Hawkeyes underneath of it. Toehouse says he loves the old Hurkey design. That's because you and I are both older, and we both grew up on older Hurkey before.
Toehouse old, is he?
Yeah, he's like a year younger than me or something like that.
Oh, that's old.
Yeah, I know it. Okay. Toehouse said that today, Paul Finkbein said a rumor is a particular SEC team is spending $60 million on their roster. Which team would that be?
That wouldn't surprise me. A&M's done it before, but that would be it'd be LSU, could be any of them. Tennessee, Vanderbilt's got a lot of money. I don't think they're quite up into that territory. I bet Vanderbilt's probably in that 35 million area.
I wonder how much Indiana's spending.
I don't know. They got plenty of money, but
yes, they do.
But there's teams that overdo it. Like last year, Texas Tech on all sports. This was all their sports put together. 180 million. Holy shit.
Okay. Toehouse says I'd be okay if they design the shirt after Kelvin's t-shirt he's wearing, black court with an orange swarm.
Yeah, they ain't gonna do that. So
yeah, okay.
The swarm has no connection to the university. If they put that on there, I think that NCAA would get kind of pissed. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Texas is spending a lot. Florida and LSU too. Okay. These are all from Toehouse. Toehouse says if they design the court after his shirt. So yeah.
Yeah. The as I said, I put together a thing last year before the football season was what I approximated what every football program in the Big Ten spent on NIL, and Iowa was near the bottom. I strongly disagreed with Brad Heinrichs that thought that Iowa was, right around that eighth, ninth spot in the Big Ten in football spending, and I sure disagreed with him. But over half of the Big Ten last year spent well over $30 million on their football program, and they're upping it this year.
Yeah.
So,
Toll House says, my mistake, and I'm 67. So actually, he's 3 years younger than me. Dang it, I'm really old compared to everybody here.
Are you going to be 71 or are you going to be 70? Is it tomorrow?
Yep, I'm going to wake up as a 70-year-old tomorrow.
I hope you wake up.
Me too.
This is the only podcast where I'm a regular,
Oh my God. If I die too soon, you guys won't have a podcast to be on anymore.
The only other one that I actively appear on screen is Zach Hawkeyes. And I just do that when he's all alone and needs somebody to talk to. So, anyway.
Is that the guy who's on the same network as Corey?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a really nice young man. So.
All righty. Okay, I'm going to ask these. I got 3 questions left.
Okay.
All righty. Now, I just kind of like, this is not an opinion. This is, what is your all-time favorite? What is your all-time favorite Hawkeye game of all time? Basketball, football, wrestling, whatever you want. Baseball.
Oh my God.
Okay, while you're thinking about that, Toll House says he's an Iowa fan, a Vikings fan. I'd like my football teams or my basketball team to win a national championship before I die. Isn't that crazy, Toll House? As we get older, we want to see our teams at least get one in before we move on to the great beyond.
I just love watching them. That question is like impossible, Dean.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Toll House picked his game. It's the Georgetown basketball game.
That's the first one that came to my mind, but it's like hard to do. Gosh, it's hard to do. There's games that weren't that important, like the wood, what do they call it? The woodshed game, and that first Kirk Ferentz's first game as a coach at Iowa, where we upset Nebraska. That was always my favorite. Even over when we beat Michigan when it was number 1 and 2. But I'll go with that Georgetown game because that's the first one I thought of.
Okay. All righty.
What about you?
I got so many. One was the Iowa win over Michigan, 1-2. That'll stick out in my mind forever. Mm-hmm. The Georgetown game sticks out in my mind forever. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think I added a new game I like. The Sweet 16 win over Nebraska this year.
And that Florida game was something.
That was, but beating Nebraska.
We knew we could beat Nebraska,
Yeah, I know that because we'd already done it once. But it was just sweet. It was just sweet where Nebraska thought they had us on the ropes, and then we just took over the game late and won it going away. Then they stupidly only played 4 on 5. They just thought, well, we could beat Iowa with one hand tied behind their back. We don't need that 5th guy on the floor. We'll beat him anyway.
Did you have another game you were going to mention or anything, Dean? Or
no? Toll House mentioned the Holloway catch against Florida.
Yeah, because I just thought of 2 other things.
Go ahead.
Of course, Caitlin unbeaten South Carolina with a 40-point triple-double. That was the greatest, other than the Russians, the U.S. hockey team beating the Russians at Lake Placid. That was the greatest thing I ever seen. Because that Russian team was unbeatable, right? Remember the Red Army team? Mm-hmm. And that just, when I think of that, the chills just go up my back. And Caitlin gives me the same feeling when I think of her dribbling under the basket and throwing the ball up above her head. And unfortunately, the University of Iowa couldn't find that ball. Beth wants that ball real bad. But and then the game that Kate Martin beat UConn, she threw the ball up at the end, the next year. And Beth couldn't find that basketball either. So, but the other thing that I was going to mention, do you remember when Jim Zaleski was a young wrestler and unbeatable Oklahoma State came into, would that have been the Fieldhouse or Carver?
I think it'd be the Fieldhouse.
Okay. And anyway, I don't know if it was a Smith, one of the Smiths maybe. I don't know, but this guy was number one wrestler, and Zaleski was like a freshman. And they got out towards the end of the mat, and Zaleski just threw him to beat him right at the end. And you never heard, the crowd was so loud you couldn't hear him, Dean. You think that was at the Fieldhouse? I know if Yagla was on here, he'd tell me who Zaleski threw. And all that, it was like a 5-point move or something, where he got the throw and then he got the back points to win that match that made us upset Oklahoma State that year.
Okay.
So,
Joel says, "Thank goodness I have a good vascular surgeon."
Okay. Vascular surgeon?
Yeah, that's it.
Does that mean he had bypass surgery or veins in his legs or what?
I have no idea.
Vascular has to do with your blood circulation and stuff.
Yeah, I just got a notification that I have to have a blood transfusion Friday morning at 7:30, and at 9:00 I have to be at a high school a school graduation. It's a heart doctor.
Oh.
He just said, his is a heart doctor.
We got any more questions?
One more. And then I got something I want to share at the end here. Okay. Your all-time favorite player of any sport? You know mine. I don't even have to say it. You can say it for me.
Callie Levine.
Yep.
Jesus, God, you can't be that. Oh, God. My favorite.
I got some
player,
others, but
everybody knows your favorite player in women's basketball going to be Caitlin. Ronnie Lester's by far. He was just so young people do not understand.
Yeah. By the way, Caitlin is not my favorite player.
Oh God, she's by far. She's probably going to be, if you ask who's a favorite Iowa athlete of all time. She has probably eclipsed Niall Kinnick because she was great like Niall Kinnick for 3 years, almost 4. It's ridiculous. And then there's so many wrestlers too. But I'm gonna go with a male and a female, Ronnie and Caitlin.
Okay. So so mine's Callie Levine, Molly Davis, Chuck Yagla, Molly Tideback. Okay.
Yeah, John Budmeyer.
No, that's not a player. The coach.
I was trying to make you laugh, Dean.
Yeah, you did. Tollhouse says Dan Gable's his, but he's a coach. He never wrestled for Iowa. It's got to be a player. It's got to be a person who actually
an Iowa athlete, University of Iowa.
Yeah, I can understand though. Dan Gable's a very popular man.
It's so hard to pick. I know young people, they all pick Spencer Lee, but it's so hard to pick the greatest Iowa wrestler even. It's.
Tollhouse goes, I know he wrestled for Iowa State, but he's an Iowa guy.
He did wrestle in the wrestling room every day, so. And nobody could beat him. Yagla said he took him down once.
That was going to be a mistake, yeah.
No, Yagla's Yagla's famous move was called a gut wrench, and nobody could stop it. And Gable became the coach, and he said, "Show me that gut wrench," or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. And Yagla said, "Okay," and they started wrestling, and he put it on him, and he put him down. And he said, then Gable scored the next 35 points or something. Gable did not like that. I said to Chuck, I said, I bet Gable had a hell of a grip. Because if you're the best wrestler in the country, you got to be so strong with your grip. And he said, it was like a vice. He said, a guy that weighs 140 pounds and he's got the strongest grip in the history of mankind.
Yeah. All right.
You want another question for me, or are you done, or what?
No, you got some other questions, because my questions are done.
Okay. How about, where do you, or if anybody's answering, where do you rate? I'm going to go position group. Iowa quarterbacks in the Big Ten.
For this year?
The prediction where you think they'll end up. Preseason, we're the worst quarterback group in the Big Ten. Preseason, if you're realistic, because none of our quarterbacks have played, right?
Yeah, none of them are really proven.
Where do you think they end up at the end of the season in the Big Ten?
I think they end up exactly wherever Iowa ends up. If we end up 9-3, then they'll end up somewhere in the middle, upper middle. I think as they go, Iowa goes.
Yeah.
My personal, because we don't have the kind of defense that Hill had. When Deacon Hill was quarterback in Iowa, thank God we had a defense.
Oh yeah, but we don't have Deacon Hill anymore.
No,
that's always bringing up the poorest performance that we had.
But I was just saying,
I'll
we won.
I'll say our quarterbacks are going to end up about where Gronowski was last year, which would probably be like, I would just guess that most people would have him like 12th, 11th in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Because there's that freshman quarterback at Maryland that nobody knows about. He was like unbelievable as a freshman. And Washington's quarterback, Dante Moore, was probably at the Heisman ceremony, and Sayan's going to throw for 4,500 yards at Ohio State, because that's what Ohio State quarterbacks do. So I'll just say that about 11th, maybe.
So Sayan and Dante Moore will both be finalists for the Heisman again.
Probably.
Yeah. How bad is that?
I don't know if both of them. I don't know if both of them were last year or not. I'm not sure, but
I think they both were in the top 4 last year.
Okay. Well, that the little quarterback at Vandy and Indiana's quarterback were both there.
Yes. And I think the next two were Sayan and
but
Dante
the Notre Dame running back wasn't there.
Oh, he might have been. Maybe
I'm
wrong.
All quarterbacks, probably.
No, I could be wrong. I
don't know.
People, that's why we're here tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong, because
I know the year before that, Scatterboo was there. And then the
who were the top 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy this year?
Last year.
Yeah. You're right. The Notre Dame running back was there. No, Dante Moore wasn't there. It was Pavia, Mendoza, Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, and Ohio State quarterback Sayan. So I only got half of that right.
Yeah. People are saying that Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver from Ohio State, will get to the Heisman ceremony this year, but I think he'll share too many receptions with the other Ohio State wide receivers to make it.
Yeah, I actually agree with that comment.
Okay. Where do you think the Iowa defense as a whole will end up? One in the Big Ten and the other in the nation. as far as defensive rating.
Okay. I'm gonna say probably 5 or 6 in the Big Ten, and probably around 10ish in the nation. And I say that because the defensive line is very unproven. I do think that the back will be okay. Will be okay in the back, but that defensive line is going to have to really step it up. And I just think that they're really unproven for the most part. And
I wonder when the last time was that the Iowa defense was that low in the Big Ten.
it's been a long time.
I would think so.
Time.
I know our defense wasn't extra superb, 2 years ago when we had Caleb Johnson, but I bet you they were in the top 3 or 4 in the Big Ten, weren't they?
I think so. They were. They gave up. That's the reason why we were only 8-4 Caleb Johnson's year, is because we gave up a lot.
I'll say that the Big Ten the Iowa defense is going to dip all the way down to number 3 in the Big Ten.
I like how you say it, dip all the way down.
All the way down to number 3. I'm trying to think who in the Big Ten. The defenses that'll be the best in the Big Ten will probably be Michigan and Oregon.
That's hard to imagine Oregon having a defense.
Oregon had such a great defense. We couldn't run against Oregon last year.
Yeah,
they had this guy named Bear Alexander, and they're back, I think. And only Oregon could afford to keep Dante Moore from the NFL, and I think they have a great offensive lineman they paid to come back. He might be a center or something, and then 2 defensive linemen that would have been drafted pretty high. They pay him to come back. The NFL can't compete with an Oregon payroll. But I would say Michigan and Oregon might be above Iowa, but that's about it. And then in the nation, I think we'll drop a little bit. We're usually like 8th, 9th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th in the nation, and I'll say we're going to be 14th.
Okay.
But I should look at the schedule better. Maybe some of them teams are going to be bad offensive teams we're going to play. We know Ohio State's going to be good, and we know that Washington has a quarterback, but I don't know if they got a lot of their offensive line and their running back. All I know is all the polls have Washington pretty high, like 15.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for the preseason magazines to come out, the physical magazines, and then I'm going to make my predictions along that line, and we'll revisit that, where the quarterbacks and the defense end up and things like that.
Okay, Dean, here's another one for you.
Okay.
Put these in order. The top 3 scorers for Iowa women, it's going to be who the 3 is going to be, right? Starting backcourt and Ava. But in what order do you foresee? And if you want to put how many points each one scores a game, that would be even more remarkable.
Okay. Since Jan's going to the 4 and 1 out, back to what they used to do, I'm going to say it won't be Ava. It would be Ava if they had used the same they had last year. So I'm going to say I'm going to go with Danny Carnegie, number 1. Ava number 2, and Chit Chat number 3. And the only reason why I go with Chit Chat number 3 because I see her role being more of a distributor this year and not as much of a shooter, because we really depended on her last year. But now we've got some nice pieces to complement around her. And I think she's going to, and she always said that she likes getting the ball to the open people.
Are you going to put like a points per game for each one, kind of a guess or something?
Okay, I'll go with about 17 for Carnegie, 15 for Ava, and probably 12 to 14 for Chit Chat. Okay. Where are you at with this?
Well,
Since
I'm
you
going to
asked
have.
it,
I think going to the 4-out will open up the middle more for Ava.
you think so? Okay.
Unless teams play zone, that would depend on how good a 3-pointer shooters are. Small forward and our power forward are.
Mm-hmm.
If they're real good shooters, you can't go zone against us very good. But I'll go with Ava. Hopefully, she stays out of foul trouble. 26 points a game. And I'll go Chit Chat and Carnegie. Both miraculously score 18.1 points a game. So right there is 62 points.
So you're looking for us to probably go back and score in the 80s on a regular basis like we used to.
We better. If you're going to go small, you better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you're going to get probably out rebounded, right?
How many times did we get out rebounded with last year's lineup?
Not very often.
That's going to say because
not with Hannah and
Ava, yeah. Hannah, Ava, and Journey were pulling down rebounds last year.
They On 3 wrote that. You've probably seen that article where they did the Iowa roster breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And what they wrote about Journey was she was 4th in the Big Ten for offensive rebound efficiency and 5th defensively, and she only played 15 minutes a game.
The most
Yeah.
underrated, what I want to say. I don't know what word I want to say, but but the most overlooked player in the Big Ten who should have got on the freshman team but did not. And how I'm sorry, Eddie Deal. I love your game and you're going to be a great player for Wisconsin, but how you made the freshman team over Journey will baffle me to the end because Journey was consistent every game, every year, every game she played.
Yeah, she was. I stood up for Journey a little bit in your preseason thing, but
you did.
But I didn't think she was going to be anything like that. My point was on there that I thought she'd play more than Mulaney and Callie. You guys had her underneath them two, and I thought, what? But I never. Yeah. I ain't biased towards Journey, but now I am just because of the person she is.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I went with that
when
because
she said I compete for after Addie left, and then they interviewed her. Randazzo was it that interviewed her, and she goes, "Well, they ask her about playing time, where she's going to play, and she says I want to play out on the perimeter, and she goes, but I'll just show up and I'll compete for my minutes like that." She wasn't gonna, because the question he asked her was, did you think about leaving? And she said, no, I'm a Hawkeye. I've been a Hawkeye all my life. And she goes, I'll compete for my minutes. It's like she just said, I'm not going to transfer to get more minutes. And that just endeared me to her. That, oh my God. And she sounds so smart and everything. But anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, she impressed me. She was at the beginning of this season overlooked by all the media. Everybody wanted to interview Layla and Addie Deal.
Except
they got all the Randazzo, but he already had a relationship with her already. So he's the only one, and on media day he chose to interview her. And
she was a local.
She was even overlooked then, and I remember telling you because she was so overlooked, even by the media, that even the fans started to overlook her. And I go, well, of course, Callie's going to get more minutes than Journey. Journey's going to be buried on the bench this year, right along with Kenise Johnson.
Okay. 2 more questions, and I know your legs are probably bothering you. I'll get off here pretty soon. Okay, how many points Callie going to average this year per game, and how many is Addie Deal going to average, and how many is Emily going to average?
Okay.
And we don't know anything about their rosters much, But
I think one of the reasons why Callie went, because I think she was guaranteed starting time and playing time. So I'm going to say Callie averages around 16 points a game, between 14 and 16.
Okay.
I think what's going to be with her is her ability to pass. I believe she racks up some assists this year. And I think she'll work on that 3-point shot that she was pretty good in at high school, and somewhere in her college life she lost that shot. I don't know why, or how, but it does happen. And then
Addie and Emily.
Okay, Addie, I see the same thing at Wisconsin. She's going to be the star of Wisconsin. I did not realize that Wisconsin lost so many players, you know. But I see her probably about the same 14 to 16 point range. I don't think she'll be as big as assist. I think because I think Addie's going to do what she did at Iowa and try to dribble in and try to score from the rim, because she liked to do that a lot, and she missed a lot when she did that. And then Emily, I don't know anything about the school she's at. Where's she at?
Syracuse.
Syracuse? I don't know. I'm just gonna say for now, I'm gonna say maybe 10 points a game. 8 to 10 points a game. I don't think she's gonna be a full-time player. She might be.
I don't know anything about their roster. I know that Syracuse once in a while might make the NCAA tournament, maybe even women, and probably NIT or something. But
and I want to say I think Tegan Mullaney for Wisconsin will be their Callie Fierbach. Won't score a lot, but she's going to be a mad defender for him. Going to stop a lot of balls from getting through that rim. So I think Tegan scores less than 8 points a game.
I hope they all do okay, and I feel so sorry.
Except against Iowa.
I feel so sorry for Tegan. That the special blessings for her. But
everybody knows the story.
I'll go that Callie ought to score 16, 17 points at UNI, I think.
I would think she would.
I think she'll be she'll be about the best athlete. I mean, she's in the Missouri Valley, ain't she?
I can't wait for her to come back to Iowa City and put on a show. But I want her to put on a show.
I know you do.
But then the rest of the team has to go kaput because I don't want her winning the game.
I think Danny Carnegie and Whiting, such great defensive players. Boy, that'll be a tough go. And then Tegan Mullaney, I'll go with 7.8 points a game. I hope, unless she's a 3-point shooter.
I think her freshman year at Iowa, she did hit a lot of threes, but then went cold toward the end of the season.
She had one game, the Drake game, where she hit 6 of them, and then the rest of the season it was
not much.
I thought, holy cow, this girl's going to be our big 3-point shooter this year. And I think Addie Deal will probably score 18 points a game, because I don't know what Wisconsin's got for scoring, but she'll sure turn the ball over a lot against Big Ten competition, I think, if they have her handling the ball like she wants to.
Yeah.
And then Emily Mott Rodriguez, I know what you said, but I bet she scores close to 20 points a game. She's just so talented, and she'll probably be at a school where she can do whatever she wants to, but
the coaches and the players will let her get away with it. So
she's so talented, Dean, it's ridiculous.
So we talked about 4 of the players. Who's the 5th player that transferred out? I forgot already.
Kenise went to Delaware.
Oh, yeah. At Delaware, she should kick butt.
Delaware's pretty tough.
Are they?
Yeah, that's a tough conference out there. I don't know what they're called, the Patriot League. I don't know what they're called. But that's Kasheen Alexander talked about that on Corey's podcast, and she goes, that's over her head like that. not to be critical of Knies, but she goes, "That's a tough conference." I think Kashin might have made a comment. It's a tougher conference to play in than the Big East.
Oh,
No, the Big East. It's UConn and nobody else out there in the Big East. But
yeah,
we got a question.
Yeah, Toll House says, I think Deal is an approve it year, and if she does well, she'll transfer again for the more money. And I think everybody believes that she's going to Wisconsin to shine, and then spend her last 2 years at a probably like a UConn or any type of blue blood school.
I think that if she does well at Wisconsin, she'll probably stay there, unless Jimmy Sullivan transfers too.
I think they have an agreement. Okay. All right.
An agreement? Is this
at the end of the next school year, no. I think at the end of the next school year, when they both can go in the transfer portal again, Deal goes in the portal, he goes in the portal. They're going to discuss where they want to go because she could possibly go anywhere, especially if she has a great year at Wisconsin.
They can go. Either one of them can go anywhere.
I know that, but I'm just saying that and Jimmy could follow her to whatever school because I just can't see them maintaining a long distance relationship, even if it is just a couple hour drive from Madison to Iowa City.
It's not that bad of a long distance relationship, but I think it will all depend on. Everybody just says that Jimmy gets along so good with teammates and stuff, and it'll probably be maybe more how great Hecklinski is. If Hecklinski's a year younger than Hank Brown, so if Hecklinski's really good and Bessinger's really good, then I could see him transferring. Maybe he'll go to Wisconsin.
So if Hecklinski could be our starter for possibly the next 3 years, correct? Because he's got 3 years of eligibility left.
Yeah, Hank's got 2. He's got 3.
And then what's Jimmy got? 4? 4 because he's already played 1 year. He's already played 1 year.
Yeah, he's got 4 because I was going to say, well, they all get 5 now, but he redshirted, so that's one of them 5 years. So
yeah,
Bessinger's got 5 years.
So I was just thinking that if Jimmy hung around, Jimmy could be our starter for his last 2 years.
It's possible. It depends on how he's doing. How's Fitzgerald doing?
But you said you heard rumors that
Bessinger's the highest rated quarterback we've gotten. I don't know how far we got to go back to Christensen, I guess, maybe Jake Christensen. But
okay, but we know
that don't mean that Bessinger's any good.
Yeah, I was just going to say Christensen might have been a high-rated quarterback, but look at the results of that guy.
I know. People get so caught up in this guy's a 5-star, this guy's a 4-star. Well, Bobby Sanders and Dallas Clark were no stars, 0 stars,
and I
believe 2 of the best football players the University of Iowa has ever had. Don't tell me about 5 stars.
I believe that signing day approached, Bobby Sanders was going to go to a MAC school, and he flipped his commit on the very last day to Iowa, if I remember right.
He committed when Iowa offered him, because Joe Moore told Kirk Ferentz, not Tom Moore, but Joe Moore. He said, "This kid out here at Erie Cathedral, I don't know that he'll ever start for you, but he'll make your special teams special." And he come in and ran a 4.740, and when he left Iowa, he ran a 4.440 because of the Iowa weight program. But anyway.
Oh yeah, I just loved his play. He'd hit so hard. It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, you had to love that guy.
He was a one player. Well, Ronnie Harmon too, but he was the one player that did something special every game. Whether it was blitzing a quarterback and decking him, picking a pass off, which Bobby probably didn't pick a lot of passes off, but just his great tackling ability and
I
coverage.
wonder how many people he took out of games, literally injured them so
know.
hard
I
after
know.
he hit them.
I know one thing in the NFL. I was a Chief fan, and I remember it was Dick Vermeil's last year with the Chiefs, and we had two great running backs. One was Priest Holmes, and we had another one, and both of them guys were like guys that got 1,000 yards in a single season, more than that. And on successive plays, the Chiefs were down near the goal line, and Bobby took Priest Holmes' kneecap out on one play. And then the next play, the backup running back, he took him out. And I love Bobby Sanders, but those were my Chiefs, you know. So we put in the third running back, Larry Johnson, the big guy from Penn State. But Bobby took him out in the pros. It wasn't just college, you know. He was the human bullet. I called him the human bullet.
Didn't Larry Johnson end up at for the Cardinals at one point out in Arizona? Or am I wrong?
No, that's that Johnson from Clinton, Iowa.
Oh, that's okay.
Larry Johnson, he played for the Chiefs for a few years. He was a big guy, and his dad's the defensive line coach at Penn State. But I don't think Larry probably didn't have a real long journey as an NFL running back. He probably got hurt too, you know. Running backs in the NFL usually don't have a big, long shelf life. That's why Walter Payton is so great, you know. But.
Okay. All righty. One more thing before we do this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to put this up here. Oh, we can't even read it. Never mind.
What's it about?
This is the best Big Ten coaches in the Big Ten. I believe McCollum is number 2 on this list. Number 3. Number 4.
Number 3. I wouldn't trade him for any of them.
Yeah. Well, I think Izzo's number 1.
No, it's the May at Michigan, number 1. I thought Purdue was number 2, and then Izzo, and then Underwood, and then McCollum, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I can't see it, but I'd have McCollum number 1 myself. I mean,
yeah.
Does them other guys have 5 national championships? No.
Well, Izzo might.
Yeah. And the only Big Ten football coach the only Big Ten football coaches I'd take over Kirk Ferentz would be maybe Signetti, and I'd take Dan Lanning, and I'm in love with the UCLA coach Chesney. Maybe I got him way overrated, but
okay. All righty. Did he wasn't
let's jump over here. You got to give your opinion.
On what? Which one?
Where does Jan rate Big Ten women's coaches?
Oh,
now think about it a little bit, because there's some good ones.
I know. Obviously, I'm going to give the UCLA coach first place. Obviously, she earned it the last 2 seasons. I don't know, man. Jan's only in her 2nd year. I would probably put her down at 5 or 6, somewhere down there.
Okay.
I think the Minnesota coach is a rising coach. The Illinois coach is going to have a special team this year. I just believe that they're gonna make some noise. So I think that coach is put together. Even what is she in her 4th or 5th year now at Illinois?
3rd, I think.
Yeah, the year that they beat Caitlin's team, and Caitlin said that girl is going to be, that coach is going to be trouble at Illinois. That she's going to make Illinois good.
So she'll be going into her 4th year then.
Yeah, and then
did you watch her interview with Randazzo?
I did. I was so impressed with her interview.
Yeah, I loved it. She goes, at the Big Ten meetings, we took a picture. It was the Iowa table. She said, me and Jan and the coach at Wisconsin and Brenda Fries, we all got together for a picture of Iowa girls coaching in the Big Ten. You know?
Well, at least they can be friends. But there seems to be a lot of.
That's really something. She made the comment. She goes, "Isn't that something?" that that little state has 4 Big Ten women's basketball coaches.
But Iowa has always produced some fantastic women basketball players.
But how many college coaches until Lisa came along? You know, it was always, you know, let's go hire Vivian Stringer from Pennsylvania or wherever she come from. You know,
I think you were onto it there. Tollhouse says I love Brenda Fries of Maryland. Of course, she's an Iowa girl. Yes, she is.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
And so, yeah, I'm going to move Jan down the list a little bit until she's been around a few more years. But the one thing about the Illinois coach I like was it that they were talking about that Divine girl that she got to come to Illinois, that they tried to recruit. I think there's a couple girls now on her team that she originally recruited but went elsewhere but came back. And I believe she said that Divine girl. Yeah, I think that Divine girl is the first Iowa girl she's ever had on her team. Unless I misunderstood what she was talking about.
That's what she said. She was the 3 girls that went other places. One of them's Aaliyah Guyton, and then Divine Burridge, and then the other one, I don't remember where she went, but she come back this year too.
So she has the last, if I'm not mistaken, the last 3 Illinois women players of the year.
Yeah, and then I'm sure Burridge surely was the best player in Iowa last year. You know, I can't think of anybody that they might have gave it to somebody else, but they shouldn't have.
Yeah, no. Yeah, even Jan says that Illinois is going to be a tough out. They're going to give some people some problems.
Oh my gosh, they're going to be athletic this year.
You know, and Aaliyah didn't beat Iowa last year, so she may want to give it another whack.
And the Illinois coach said that game at Carver Hawkeye Arena was the best college basketball game she was ever involved in. And boy, that was a great game. She goes, we were ahead by 7 with, like, I don't know, she said 4 minutes to go or something. And she goes, it was just back and forth and back and forth. And both teams played so good, you know. It just it was a great game.
Didn't she mention something about how loud Carver was during that game?
Probably. I mean, how many women play in an arena that gets that loud?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with Iowa is that they do get a little bit behind. The crowd really gets into them when they start their comeback. And I don't know, because I said I was busy working during the Virginia-Iowa game. And I do not know if the crowd never got into it, but those girls feed off that crowd energy. They always have, but this particular game, I don't know if the crowd had any energy for them.
You couldn't blame the crowd for that game.
They were into it.
They're always into it, Dean. You know, and they were into it. It was probably hot in there, but it wasn't too hot for the fans. It was just hot for the players that had to exercise and.
Yeah, Chat kept cramping up, from my understanding.
Okay, you ready to wind her up?
Yes, let's wind her up. Oh, I did want to say that yesterday, Tuesday, Chit Chat and Layla and Chit Chat had their first still whatever they call that, Hawk Talk.
I don't know what it is, but they had Ava on.
Yeah, they had Ava on there, and I'm going to say this. I wasn't as impressed as I was when Jada did it, but the reason why I thought that I wanted Callie to really take over that show, but that's before I knew she wasn't coming back, because Callie would have made that show a lot more fun.
I know. You want everything. You want, when Jan retires, you want Callie to be the coach.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
When she gets old enough, we'll vote for her for president of the United States.
Yeah, but her and Molly Davis will always be my 2 favorite Iowa women players.
I know. Oh, Dean, I love you, Dean.
I do too.
You're supposed to say, I love you too, Calvin. Anyway, you ready
Okay,
to
guys,
wind it up?
wish me some happy birthdays. We're gonna get out of here and wind it
We're
up for the
gonna, we're
night.
gonna be back Sunday.
Yeah, as far as I know.
I hope we can come up with some content. Oh,
I
tomorrow.
thought doing this on the fly tonight worked out pretty darn good.
Yeah, I like just me and you conversing and then people conversing with us. It works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was gonna. Tomorrow is the iClub. It's Friday tomorrow night's the iClub at Muscatine, which is near me. There'll be a lot of Randazzo reporting, interviewing the coaches and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure probably Ben and Jan, and he said Seth Wallace was going to be there.
Seth Wallace will be there. The new soccer coach will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he said both Ben and Jan, but I think Ben's going to be there.
No, Ben's going to be there.
Yeah, Ben, but I don't think Jan's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, I could be wrong. And if you guys want to go, you have to go pre-register at joinihawks.com or .org or something like that.
You have to join the iClub. You can't just show up. So.
Yeah. I'm a member of the iClub here in California, but I don't know about Iowa.
Yeah, if you're a member of the iClub, you're a member of the iClub, I think.
Oh, it's a national thing, yeah, too.
Yeah, but
I'm also a member of the California iClub.
These iClubs have been very well attended this year. Been a jump. So.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's time to get out of here. Thank you guys. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you made it this far. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Leave us some more comments afterwards. Wish me a happy birthday afterwards, and whatever else.
Happy 90th birthday tomorrow, Dean.
Yeah, there you go. Today is my father-in-law, or was my father-in-law. He's deceased now, but his 93rd birthday.
Was he a pretty good guy?
Yes, he was.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get out of here.
You've been blessed in life, then, Dean. So.
Yes, I have.
Yep.
All right. We're getting out. Thank you, guys. See you Sunday night.